Hi, Catnips, Rini here, and welcome to another ASMR reading. Woo! Today, instead of reading a short story, we're going to read a series of poems by Edgar Allan Poe, and let's just get right into it. Ulalume by Edgar Allan Poe. The skies that were ashen and sober, the leaves they were crisped and sere, the leaves they were withering and sere. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorable year. It was hard by the dim lake of Auber in the misty mid-region of Ware. It was down by the dank tarn of Auber in the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Here once, through an alley titanic, of cypress I roamed with my soul, of cypress with Psyche, my soul. These were days when my heart was volcanic, as the scoriac rivers that roll, as the lavas that relentlessly roll, their sulphurous currents down Yannick, and the ultimate climbs of the pole that groan as they roll down Mount Yannick in the realms of the boreal pole. Our talk had been serious and sober, but our thoughts, they were palace and sear. Our memories were treacherous and sear, for we knew not the month was October, and we marked not the night of the year. Ah, night of all nights in the year. We noted not the dim lake of Auber, though once we had journeyed down here. We remembered not the dank tarn of Auber, nor the ghoul-haunted woodland of Ware. And now, as the night was senescent, and the star dials pointed to morn, as the star dials hinted of morn, at the end of our path a luquescent and nubilous luster was born, out of which a miraculous crescent arose with a duplicate horn, a star's bediamonded crescent, distinct with this duplicate horn. And I said, she is warmer than Dian. She rolls through an ether of sighs. She reveals in a region of sighs. She has seen that the tears are not dry on these cheeks where the worm never lies, and has come past the stars of the lion, and to point us to the path of the skies, to the Lethean peace of the skies, come up in despite of the lion, to shine on us with her bright eyes, come up through the lair of the lion, with love in her luminous eyes. But Psyche, uplifting her finger, said, sadly, this star I mistrust. Her pallor I strangely mistrust. Oh, hasten, oh, let us not linger. Oh, fly, let us fly, for we must. In terror she spoke, letting sink her wings till they trailed in the dust. In agony sobbed, letting sink her blooms till they trailed in the dust, till they sorrowfully trailed in the dust. I replied, this is nothing but dreaming. Let us on by this tremulous light. Let us bathe in this crystalline light. Its symbolic splendor is beaming with hope and in beauty tonight. See, it flickers up the sky through the night. We must safely may trust to its gleaming, and be sure it will lead us aright. We safely may trust to a gleaming that cannot but guide us aright, since it flickers up to heaven through the night. Thus I pacified Psyche and kissed her, and tempted her out of her gloom, and conquered her sculptures and gloom. And we passed to the end of the vista, but were stopped by the door of a tomb, by the door of a legend tomb. And I said, what is written, sweet sister, on the door of this legend tomb? And she replied, Ulalume, Ulalume, 'tis the vault of thy lost Ulalume. Then my heart, it grew ashen and sober, as the leaves that were crisped and sere, as the leaves that were withering and sere. And I cried, it was surely October, on this very night of last year, that I journeyed down here, that I brought a dread burden down here, on this night of all nights in the year. Oh, what demon has tempted me here? Well, I know now, this dim lake of Auber, this misty mid-region of where. Well, I know now, this dank tarn of Auber, and the ghoul-haunted woodland of where. Said we then, the two then. Ah, can it have been the woodlandish ghouls, the pitiful, the merciful ghouls, to bar up our way and to ban it from the secret that lies in these wolds, from the thing that lies hidden in these wolds, had drawn up the specter of a planet, from the limbo of luminary souls, the sinfully scintillant planet, from the hell of the planetary souls. And next we have the classic The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books sucrease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door. That is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no more. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and it echoed murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard it tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Once here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. And not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim, an ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly. Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly. Though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above his chamber door. Bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. Of the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if its soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather, then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends hath flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hope hath flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till songs one burden bore, till the digers of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven is still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamp light gloated o'er. But who's the velvet violet aligning with the lamp light gloating o'er? She shall press, ah, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepent from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird of devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet, all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow, latent if, within the distance Aden, it shall clasp a Satan maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasps the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word of sign or parting, bird of fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest in the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above the door. Take thy beak from out of my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust, a palace, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the light lamp o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And on my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. And this next poem is called Bridal Ballad. The ring is on my hand, and the wreath is on my brow. Satin and jewels grand are all at my command, and I am happy now. And my Lord, he loves me well. But when he first breathed his vow, I felt my bosom swell. For the words rang as a knell, and the voice seemed his who fell in the battle down the dell, and who is happy now. But he spoke to reassure me, while he revere came o'er me, and to the churchyard bore me, and I sighed to him before me, thinking him dead, de-allure me. Oh, I am happy now. And thus the words were spoken, and this the plighted vow, and though my faith be broken, and though my heart be broken, here is a ring as token that I am happy now. Would God I could awaken, for I dream I know not how, and my soul is sorely shaken, lest an evil step be taken, lest the dead who is forsaken may not be happy now. And the last poem is The Haunted Palace. In the greenest of our valleys, by good angels tenated, once a fair and stately palace, radiant palace, reared its head. In the monarch thought's dominion, it stood there, never seraph spread opinion over fabric half so fair. Banners yellow, glorious, golden, on its roof did float and flow. This, all this, was in the olden time long ago, and every gentle air that dallied, and the sweet day along the ramparts plumed and pallid, a winged odor went away. Wanderers in that happy valley through two luminous windows saw spirits moving musically to a lute's well-tuned law. Round about a throne where sitting Porphyrogene, in state his glory well befitting, the ruler of the realm was seen, and all with pearl and ruby glowing was a fair palace door, through which came flowing, glowing, and sparkling evermore, a troop of echoes whose sweet duty was to sing, and voices of suppressing beauty, the wit and wisdom of their king. But evil things in robes of sorrow assailed the monarch's high estate. Ah, let us mourn, for never morrow shall dawn upon him desolate, and round about his home in glory that blushed and bloomed is but a dim remembered story of the old time entombed. And travelers now within the valley through the red linen windows see vast forms that move fantastically to a discordant melody, while like a ghostly rapid river through the pale door a hideous throng rush out forever and laugh, but smile no more. And that is all that I have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed these short poems. Some were a little bit longer than others, but that's okay. I like them. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and comment below, as well as subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you know when the next ASMR readings will be out. Until next time, Rini over and out. Bye bye!